on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is Tabula Rasa, clean slate, and being able to wipe the past clean or our programming, our patterns, and make that a place where we can write our own story anew. So that's what we're talking about today. But before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light, lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together. Vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, the motion, the tickling and tingling when you stop, and allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables us to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, Rosalind. Welcome. It's so good to have you here with us this morning. And welcome to everyone else who's joining us. Where I was in sort of a meditative state. I wasn't thinking about anything particular. And the words, this is really obscure, the words tabula rasa came to me. So I had to go and check to see what it meant. And it meant clean slate, which is kind of like a new beginning. And in olden form of writing, cuneiform, they would have these tablets that were covered with wax, and they could press the cuneiform forms into the wax. And then when that message was complete, they could melt the wax again to clean the slate, to clear the slate. And so we've spoken a lot in these conversations about patterning and programming and how we are subject to programs that, and sometimes we even call them spells, where other people have told us who we are, how to think. We're enculturated to thinking about things in certain ways, which colors our ability to perceive things. So what we can spend time doing, maybe lifetimes, maybe one lifetime or multiples within one lifetime, is spend time clearing that slate, cleaning that slate, to be able to actually have freedom of choice. So I don't know if you all have heard of something called the Silva method. It was developed by Jose Silva, and now it's being taught on Mind Valley, which is sort of a platform for all kinds of transformational information and tools. But the Silva method, it was called the Silva mind control method when I was growing up, was really my entree into the arena of personal development and personal growth, because it gave me exposure. It gave me not only exposure, but experience with the fact that we have access, we have the ability to tune senses to other information in the field that we reside in, and other than our standard five senses. And one of the, actually Silva predated all the manifesting and law of attraction stuff. This was back, I think Jose Silva started his thing in the 50s, in the late 50s. I was exposed to it, I think in the 70s sometime. So what he talks about, or what he trains people, or what this method trains people to do, is to be able to sense into the world around us beyond ourselves. So to be able to sense what's going on with another person or an animal or a place, or even places that are remote to us in the universe, other planets, whatever, that we can project our attention and our awareness and gather information, and also have an impact in these other dimensions of perception and reality. And so one of the things that we get to do is we get to create ourselves. And why a clean slate is because we actually get to transcend beyond the limits and the conditioning that we have. The work that I do, the core connection work, is very much about dissolving some of the writing that's on the slate. It's kind of like being able to bring that heat to literally melt, literally dissolve whatever the programming is that's on that slate, that represents the core of our identities. As we clean that off, as we clean off the other programmed identities, we then have the ability to be creating from the essence. So rather than stamping the slate with information, what we're doing is we're making room for the essence to emerge onto it instead. So almost like with invisible ink, you know, when you activate the invisible ink, the letters emerge, or the images, or the coloration that the message is written with emerges. And so maybe I'm mixing metaphors here, but my experience is that in being able to access our greater capabilities, what is necessary is to be clearing away the impediments. And I'm seeing those impediments as the things that are that come on the slate, when, you know, that are pre-written for us on the slate, and then we get to clear that away and put on our own etchings, and we can keep clearing that slate. We can keep moving beyond the self-imposed limitations, and pretty much all limitations are self-imposed. So another program that I'm also doing, I'm super excited about it. This is the kind of thing that just really lights me up more than anything, is kind of exploring the boundaries of our capabilities, like as consciousness manifest. So what kind of possibilities are there for us to create ourselves, to be who we dream of being? So there's another program in addition, and I'm recommending these, by the way. You can get on Mind Valley as a monthly subscription, or you could subscribe annually. So there's the Silva Ultra Mind method is the one course, and The other course that I'm doing right now is called Quantum Jumping by Bert Goldman, who was a longtime Silva instructor and also a devotee of Yogi, oh boy, Paramahansa Yogananda. So he created this thing called quantum jumping out of a little bit of an understanding of physics and also a deep understanding of what was possible with Silva. And so physics says that everything that could possibly have ever happened already has. And so there are multitudes of iterations of each and every one of us. And there are versions of us that have made different choices at different points along the way, or that were born with different talents. And the concept here is to be able to go meet those parts of you that have all these capabilities that you might not yet have. And to then merge with the energy of that manifestation, of that dimension of self, the energy that has the artistic talent, or that has the mathematical wizardry. Yes, so Rosalind says meeting your future sage self. Yes, but there are multitudes of different sage selves with all different talents. So this guy, Bert Goldman, when he was past 80, taught himself to do photography, taught himself to paint, taught himself to sing, and he had an exhibit that ended up in a museum for the painting, and he pioneered a new style for photography, and people offered to pay him to sing, and he just was incredibly prolific. And the foundation of the quantum jumping is you can be anything you want to be. And even just opening our minds to that notion of we can be anything we want to be, it's so completely opposite, maybe, what we're really taught. We're told we can we're told you can be whatever you want to be, but culture doesn't really reinforce that. And if we think, I think I mentioned this before, I recently read about it again twice in different contexts. There were studies done with kids. There was a study about genius, trying to track how does genius evolve, how to source genius. And they started with kids that were under 5 years old, and most of these kids qualified in the genius category. And they followed these kids through the years, and as they got into, I don't know, junior high school, there was a fraction of the kids that were still in the genius category. And by the time they were in college, there was a nominal number of kids that still met the genius criteria. Whereas when they were 5 years old or younger, they were geniuses. And what happened? And so if you, like I can, remember being a kid and being told, oh, that's just your imagination, or get real, come back to reality here, or that's just your imaginary friend, that's not really that's make-believe. We're taught what's real and what's not real, and as a result, our creative capacity gets vastly diminished. And so it's beholden upon us to learn to think, and this is a common theme for us in these conversations, is to learn to think outside the convention, outside the boxes that we have been constrained to, where we have been pressured to go along with the crowd, to go along with the standard perception. And the fact of the matter is that the standard enculturation has gotten us into a world of hurt and a world of mess and a world of pollution and toxicity and climate change and extinctions. So what we need to do is to create more of a culture of creative thinkers. And the idea, just these two courses are really truly revolutionary, because they actively cultivate the capacity, the capability, the possibility that we can step outside the conventional understanding of reality, actually, and open ourselves to an unlimited, a world of unlimited possibility. And by cultivating these skills, these senses, by tuning in to the guidance, which they say outright, the guidance of our greater soul or a higher power, whether it's ours or if you're connected to God and God's will for you, or your soul, your higher self, your purpose, alignment with your greater purpose, rather than setting, for instance, goals and expectations that are based on enculturated values that are not your true values, for example. So what that looks like is maybe culturally, well, I'll just say my mom wanted me to be a cheerleader growing up. Now, if you've hung around here for any period of time, me and pom-poms and boots, it's never been a picture. It's never been a picture. And it was funny because I mentioned this to a friend, and they said, well, yeah, but you are a cheerleader in a way. You're a coach. You know, you're cheering people on in their lives. So in that respect, I should tell my mom she got her wish, but I think she really more had the pom-poms and boots in mind. But it would have been out of alignment for me to be following that path. I ended up going into sales for a bunch of years, which turned out to be a really good schooling ground for me. It's not that sales gave me a sense of purpose and meaning, but it gave me a context or a training in communication that was really, really valuable to me. Although being in sales, I stayed too long, to the point where it was really painful. But so that's where I wasn't in alignment, but I was staying in that trajectory because culturally I was making decent money. I was making a living, kind of thing. Don't rock the boat. Just keep doing that and do the stuff you want to do on the side. That didn't work for me. I went through a very, very deep crisis of meaning, feeling like I was lost and lacking purpose, and just like I wasn't living my life. So getting back to this clean slate, at any time, we can choose a moment and make that moment meaningful. We can choose a moment and use that moment to open up the vastness of the potentials in our own lives and write our own story. Clean the tablet of the things that are our inhibitions toward our own fullest expression, clear that tablet and write our own story. And that story can be as glorious as we make it. And what I just encourage you to entertain the question, if you could be and do anything you wanted in life, what would that be? How would that feel? And what would it take for you to actually be willing to train yourself into the skills, the energy, the frequency to make that possible? And if you're curious, check out these two courses. I don't get any commission. They have no clue who I am. But I really suggest that you check it out. It's if you just signed up monthly, I think it's like $50 a month. And if you the Silva course is 28 days. So for the cost of a month, you could be changing your life in a really, really radical way. I'm finding it very elevating, very uplifting to be once again exploring ways in which to up level, to just up my game in being here on the planet, in being a creator energy here on this planet. We all have that capability to be. We are always creating. It's just a matter of whether we're creating with awareness or not, whether we're really generating something that is in alignment with our core self, and learning how to be a genius again, learning how to dream again, learning how to, and maybe you don't need to learn again. Maybe you already remember. Maybe you're doing that. And you can even accelerate that further to say, well, wow, what would I like to do? I would really like to be a dancer. I would really like to be a painter. I would really like to be able to be a great percussionist or a pianist or playing the flute. I was going to say flautist, a flute player. There's so many things that I would like to do and do well, that the prospect of stepping in and experiencing this with other dimensions of myself that have expressed those talents is just really exciting and invigorating. And to be looking at the wheelworks of the universe and riding the wheels of the universe in the direction that we want to be going. It's pretty exciting stuff. So Rosalind says, I would really like my orchid plant to bloom a flower. So interestingly, one aspect of the Silva training is projecting our consciousness into animate and inanimate objects, so and life forms, so into metal, into plants, into animals, into other people, to be able to see what's going on with them. And Rosalind, I know that you were very interested in creating a healing practice. This is where I first got in touch with healing ability. This is where I first learned that I could do hands-on healing and remote healing. So I I invite you to go check it out, and maybe you can talk to your orchid. Maybe you can talk to your orchid anyway, but the training here would help, I think. So that's it for today, but it's pretty cool to know that you can write your own script, that you can start with a clean slate and write your own script. So that's it for today. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I invite you to please follow EWN and me. The links are in the description. And it's always a delight to have the opportunity to share these musings with you about what it is to be human. So until next time, so much love to you.